Morning Brief is still live right here on Channels Television. Happy New Year once again. Just in case you're joining us, this is the perfect way to start your morning right here. Well, let's get into our first conversation for today. By the way, we're still expecting your New Year resolutions, if that's a thing for you. If you're abandoning it, let us know. Hashtag CTV Morning Brief. But let's meet our very first guest on the Morning Brief. We have joining us in our Lagos studio, Dr. Lanre Olusola, the Catalyst. That's what a lot of people know him as a mind and behavioral change expert. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here on the show.
Our very first guest.
Our very first. Wow.
There's probably more confetti right now. I know.
I see some confetti.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's for you as well. And
nice.
I know a lot of people are excited about the new year. Yeah. Maybe some aren't. It's always mixed feelings for a lot of people. But let's talk about that construct of time, because there are areas that are not even in the new year just yet. I know that's a conversation for another day. But what's so much ado about the new year? It comes with the resolutions, the vision board, and all of the plans. But what is significant about the new year, really, for you?
I think it's a very symbolic time and season in everybody's life, every nation's life, every continent's life, in the world in itself. And if you get a gift, a pair of new shoes, a pair of, new trousers, new clothes, new wristwatches, how do you feel?
Usually, you'll feel great if it's the one you love.
Yes. And that's what a new year symbolizes. It symbolizes the end of a season and the beginning of a new one. And with each new season comes excitement, comes expectations, comes happiness and joy. And, psychologically, people reset and restart. And so it is symbolic of, having celebrated Christmas. And everybody is in a good mood during Christmas, because Christmas is a season where we give gifts and receive gifts. Now, the symbolism of giving and receiving gifts is the display of acts of kindness. When you observe people show kindness to other people, it releases what we call dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And those are the 4 happy hormones. Those hormones make you happy. Those hormones make you, expectant. Those hormones motivate you. Those hormones, they release joy from within. And so leaning in from those biochemical releases or hormonal releases, right, within you, and starting a new year with dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, gives you a new lease of life.
So I wanted to find out, a lot of people, let's also switch gears to issues why when people try to do this reset, it doesn't seem to last as long as they anticipate. You're a life coach. I'm sure you've tracked this for many years. Why? They come up with so much optimism, excitement. I want to do this, I want to do that. But just in a short while, they lose steam. So what makes people lose steam? Maybe they can learn that this very January 1st to begin to examine themselves clearly and know what to do next.
All right. So the release of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins does not last too long, right? It's just like if you eat in the morning, your system is going to break it down and digest it. By afternoon, you're hungry, which means that you have to sustain, that digestive system. So you eat breakfast, you eat lunch, and you eat dinner. And you don't stop in day 1. You continue in day 2, and you continue the rest of your life. So I think it's an aspiration and futility that leads to frustration when people think that just getting started, right, or being hopeful, or wishing that they have a great year and they achieve all their dreams, will deliver it. It won't.
And you should know better when you talk about those, because you're the catalyst, right?
Yeah.
That's a chemical term, or chemistry term. So you know better about all of those things. The Nigerians just watched the president's speech, and that's the reality. We're coming off of 2023 that was very challenging, to say the least, for some Nigerians. Some people barely made it through. And then they start the new year, they listen to President Tinubu's speech. You listen to it as well.
Yeah.
How would you describe that as a start to the year?
I think one of the most inspiring speeches that I've heard him deliver. I think one of the things that we need in Nigeria today, and we all agree, is hope. Hope. We all have to have faith. And I think one of the most cardinal points in his speech is the fact that you have to take your destiny in your hands and do not expect government to deliver everything for you.
Isn't that a contradiction? Because government is meant to be responsible for security, welfare. It's clearly stated.
Yes.
Of the people.
Yes, there's some basic things that government will provide. That's an enabling environment. But your destiny is in your hands. Whether you succeed or fail is in your hands. And so it is Nigeria. There's no geographical space, right, that is Nigeria outside of the people. Yes, we know we have this construct or this contraption that we call Nigeria on the map. But let's take all of us out of Nigeria. What do we have? Nothing. So Nigeria really is you and I. Nigeria is all of us. And the success of Nigeria depends on the success of the individuals. If we looked at America and China, right, and the developed countries, and we look at their prosperity, it is the result of the prosperity of the people. And so one of the things that, his speech hinged on is entrepreneurship. It is very important that we begin to think, what are the problems that we can begin to solve? What is the value that we can begin to add? And once we begin to solve problems, we begin to add value, right? When we begin to deliver value, right, we will be valued and we will receive value in response.
So I want to bring this to personal, at the personal level as well.
Yeah.
I asked the question about why people fail in terms of their aspiration and setting goals and all of that. Looking at the reality that we're facing as a country, in our opener, I was trying to say, look, some people may set it high, some people set it low. When you look at the economy, if you are to advise an individual right now, say by region, some people are living in, where there's prevalence of insecurity. Some of us in Lagos are having some of the best times because that insecurity is not as much as some part of the country. What advice are you going to give to people that, look, in going into this year, setting your goals, these are the things, pitfalls you may expect, and these are the things you should do to avoid them if you want to meet your aspiration as an individual?
All right, so let's look at, the basis that you've set. The first thing is it's very, very important for us to localize our wishes or our goals. So the guy in Lagos and the guy in Ekiti or the guy in Katsina or Kaduna cannot be setting the same goals because they don't exist in the same environment. And environment is very, very critical to your aspirations, to your dreams, and the actualization of those dreams. Environment. So whenever you set a goal, right, localize it. And, the science of goal setting teaches us that your reality is very critical. So it's not just about the goal. Your reality within your environment, your reality internally, that is your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, your decisions are very critical to achieving and attaining those goals, because your environment influences your thoughts. Your thoughts influence your beliefs. Your beliefs influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your decisions. Your decisions influence your actions, and your actions produce your outcomes. And so if you do not take your environment into consideration, right, you have started wrong and you would end wrong. So it's about the input that creates the output. So we're all subject to our local environment. We're all subject to our emotional environment. We're all subject to our psychological environments, right? That environment is very, very key. What thoughts and what thought processes, right, does it start off for you? And how you think it? Which means that if you have negative, limiting, disempowering thoughts, you will have negative, limiting, disempowering beliefs. You would have negative, limiting, disempowering emotions. You will make the wrong decisions and take the wrong actions. And so we need to start off with that. What environment am I in? And how does that align with my goals? Now, when you look at environment and you look at your goals, right, then you would ask yourself, what are the core beliefs that drive me? And what are the core values that drive me? You must also, of essence, ask yourself, why do you want those goals? Now, beyond just why do you want it, right? Who is going to support you to achieve those goals? Because man is not an island. You need people. You need destiny helpers. You also need accountability partners to hold you accountable to those goals. Now, beyond all of this, right, is you have to plan. Because he who fails to plan has already planned to fail. So, how are you going to execute those goals? What are you going to do differently? Assess what happened last year. Visualize where you're going and what you want in your future.
Right.
Then ask yourself, what do I need to stop doing? What aren't I doing that I need to start doing? What is wasting a lot of my time and energy that I need to do less of? And what is it that I'm not giving attention to? That I need to start giving attention to.
Okay, if I
so
could
you
just,
realize that the whole process of goal setting is scientific. It's not just about wishing.
Again, as a catalyst, you found a way to simplify this, and people will say, naturally, you will, because it's something you've done over time. I jokingly asked you before we started this segment, you're not a motivational speaker, and you told me you're a coach.
Yes.
But, you know, a lot of people will say, some of these things, I take them on board, they don't work. I tried that in 2023, 2022, and you know, surviving Nigeria alone is a 24-hour job, literally. So I like you to arm people with a skill, because I hear that you can make it in Nigeria, and I've seen people make it in Nigeria in spite of all of the challenges and failures from government and people. So is there a starter pack to making it in Nigeria? If you were to tell someone that this, and this is what you can do if you want to make it in Nigeria, and imagine anyway, if you make it in Nigeria, you literally make it anyway. Yeah. What will that starter pack, what would it look like?
I would say the starter pack is these three statements. Number one, know thyself. Number two, know thyself. Number three, know thyself. And I'm sure you're wondering, why know yourself 3 times?
No, I'll let you explain.
It's because if you do not know yourself, you cannot become yourself. If you do not become yourself, you cannot become the best version of yourself. So many people, Nigerians and people across the world, are always looking at other people as their measurement stick, as their rudder, right? You must walk your path. You must live your life. You must embrace your own destiny. And so you must sit down and do a self-evaluation and reflection. And ask yourself some fundamental questions. Who am I? And I'm not talking your name. I'm not talking your profession. I'm not talking your relationships. I'm talking about the essence of your existence. Who am I? But most importantly, who am I not? Right? That is going to eliminate, copycatism, and is going to introduce authenticity and originality. First step. Secondly, what am I? What am I is different from who am I. The fourth question you need to answer is, what am I not? So there are different kinds of spoons, right? There's the teaspoon, there's a tablespoon, there's a soup spoon, right? There's the cooking spoon. So the fact that you identify as a spoon is not enough. What kind of spoon are you? Because that will determine your function, and that will determine how you function optimally. The fifth question you need to ask yourself is, why am I here? What is my purpose? Because you see, you are designed, your entire physical system, neurological system, psychological system, environmental system that you were placed in, right, is to help you shape yourself, right? So why am I here? What is the problem that I'm a solution to, right? And whose problem am I a solution to? Now, most importantly, where are they? Because you see, success, right, and the definition of success is many people's problems.
Right.
We define success based on someone else's definition of success. So once you answer all of these questions, then you would ask yourself, right, when I die, what legacy am I going to leave behind? And how can I, on a daily basis, leave that legacy? Because every day you live, you write your story. Your story is summarized at the end. So each life you meet, each problem you solve, right, each value you add,
That's going to be part of your story.
That's your legacy.
What a way to start the year. We're starting on this note because we understand how important it is to have the right kind of mindset and to start in the perfect day. In this case, the perfect year. We'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Lanre Olushola, the catalyst. You've given us a lot of work to do, so I imagine a lot of people will be going back to get into that work. By the way, you can follow him on social media. Amazing thing he does. He's a mind and behavioral change expert, also a coach. Thank you, the coach.
Thank you.
And Happy New Year once again.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Nigerian.
Thank you.